Hi, my name is Charu Verma. I'm a student in the fall 2018 session of Environmental Health course and my topic is glyphosate. Purpose and objective of this presentation is to provide a journal overview of glyphosate. This presentation will focus on its use in US and among other countries in the world using graphical data. Objectives is to explain why glyphosate is an environmental health hazard and to discuss glyphosate policy in US and in the world. Contents. First we'll cover the background, then there will be a usage through temporal graph. I'll compare global and US estimates. Then there is a graph showing trends over period of time. Then I've added a comparison table showing the glyphosate use on crops in US versus rest of the world. Then we'll see why glyphosate is a health hazard, summary and references. I'm not sure that is everyone aware of this term glyphosate or not, but I would like to speak something about it. Glyphosate is most widely used herbicide. It is regarded as a systemic herbicide because when applied to plant foliage, it is absorbed to the tissues to kill the broadleaf plants, weeds, and grasses. So glyphosate works by preventing plants from making certain kinds of proteins that are necessary for growth. Glyphosate helps farmers and homeowners control weeds and wide variety of fruits, vegetables, and other food crops. It is also used in ornamental planting, lawns and turf, greenhouses, aquatic areas. Also, glyphosate-resistant, transgenic, and GMO genetically modified organism crops varieties that include canola, corn, cotton, soybean, sugar beets, and wheat is available. So glyphosate was discovered to be a herbicide by Monsanto chemist John E. France in 1970. Monsanto brought it to market for agricultural use in 1974 under the trade name Roundup. Farmers quickly adopted glyphosate for agricultural weed control, especially after Monsanto introduced glyphosate-resistant Roundup-ready crops, enabling farmers to kill weeds without killing their crops. Different formulations of glyphosate are available in the market. These are Roundup Original, Roundup Ultramax, Roundup Ultramax 2, also called WeatherMax, Touchdown, Touchdown High-Tech. 19% of estimated global use of glyphosate, that is 8.6 billion kilograms, is in the US. Since 1974 in US, over 1.6 billion kilograms of glyphosate active ingredient has been applied, or 19% of estimated global use of glyphosate. Despite piles of research suggesting the glyphosate is dangerous, the Big Apple continues to douse its box with this stuff. Here I have added an interactive map from New York City showing that Monsanto Roundup is the most used herbicide in New York City parks. Globally, glyphosate use has risen almost 15-fold times since so-called Roundup-ready genetically engineered glyphosate-tolerant crops were introduced in 1996. So two-thirds of the total volume of glyphosate applied in US from 1974 to 2014 has been sprayed in just last 10 years. The volume applied increased steadily, not dramatically, through 1995 to approximate 12.5 million kilograms. Glyphosate use on herbicide-tolerant crops and all crops. For over a decade, the vast majority of hectares planted to maize, soybean, canola, cotton has been genetically engineered to be herbicide tolerant. Here I've added a table to compare the trends in US to the global estimates. As we discussed earlier, in US, 19% of total global estimates has been used. If we compare the amount applied in US, we are using 0.53 kilograms per hectare in comparison to approximate 1 kilogram per hectare use globally. If we compare the share of total use from 1974 to 2014, we see 66.6% has been used in US only in comparison to 71.6% of global estimates. Here we see the glyphosate use on crops. If we compare the trends over the period of time from 2010 to 2012, we see overall there has been an increase in all the crops like cotton, maize, soybean, and canola. Here I would like to talk a little about why glyphosate is a health hazard. While glyphosate and formulations such as Roundup have been approved by regulatory bodies worldwide, concerns about their effect on humans and the environment persist and have grown as the global usage of glyphosate increases. We see here the glyphosate is everywhere in our food chain and is regarded as potential carcinogen in many studies. First, we'll see Bones et al. In 2014, he identified 11,900 parts per billion of glyphosate is in our crops. He found this number in genetically modified soybean. There was another study done by Rublo et al. In 2014. He found a high amount of glyphosate in various foodstuffs. Tap water. 0.14 parts per billion is found in US tap water. This was a survey done in US. Next we see Kruger et al. In 2014, he identified glyphosate amounts in farm animals. Also, children and baby food also contain some amount of glyphosate in it. In 2015, the World Health Organization's International Agency of Research on Cancer classified glyphosate as probably carcinogen in humans category 2A based on epidemiological study, animal study, and in vitro studies. On the other hand, there was a report published by European Food Safety Authority that the substance is unlikely to be genotoxic. Genotoxic is something which is damaging to DNA or to pose a carcinogen threat to humans. A number of cities, counties, states, countries throughout the world have been taken steps to either restrict or ban glyphosate. The US Environmental Protection Agency, called EPA, maintains that glyphosate is not likely to be a carcinogen to humans. Roundup and other glyphosate-based herbicides are readily available to purchase throughout the country. However, on July 7, 2017, California became the first state in the nation to issue a warning on glyphosate. California's decision to warn consumers about glyphosate was pursuant to a requirement of the Safe Drinking Water and Toxic Enforcement Act, better known as California Proposition 65. There have been various different lawsuits claiming link to cancer filed against Monsanto Company and various advertising controversies. Also, the European Chemical Agency (ECHA) classified glyphosate as causing serious eye damage and is toxic to aquatic life. The WHO and FAO Joint Committee on Pesticide Residue issued a report in 2016 stating the use of glyphosate formulation does not necessarily constitute a health risk and giving admissible daily minimum intake limits for chronic toxicity. Overall, I may say that human exposures from around the home and urban use of glyphosate warrants closer attention, and the frequency and level of glyphosate and residues in a variety of foods are increasing, and most refined dietary risk assessment should be carried out. Thank you. Enjoyed. Thank you.